Welcome to Class 2 of the SEO Bootcamp series, where we'll be discussing and reviewing keyword research best practices. In this module, we're going to be talking about this concept of search visibility. Class 2 keyword research is made up of these different items, and so we're here at the beginning talking about search visibility and its impacts on your keyword analysis and keyword selection. So let's dive into understanding this key concept of search visibility, which is helpful when doing analysis of keywords. I'm going to be using the Moz Pro campaigns tool, in particular the rankings tool, to illustrate how you can use the search visibility metric. So I'll kind of show you in that interface of how, if you wanted to follow along in your Moz Pro campaign. Keep in mind, if you're using a different tool other than Moz, you should be able to replicate something similar to what we see here. So think of these as concepts. Here we have the Moz Pro interface drop down, and you can go to the campaigns tool. If you select the campaigns tool, that will take you to this interface. And here I have selected the rankings feature, or the rankings tool, in the Moz Pro campaign. So in the Moz Pro campaign rankings tool, what we have is this interface, and it has a number of different items associated with it. Obviously, prominently in here is a graph with a couple of different elements of navigation. But here at the top, we have this search visibility figure. It says 2.03%. And we have to ask ourselves, A, what does that mean? And B, is that good or bad? And so how do I change this interface, and how do I monitor what's going on with my keywords to determine whether or not my search visibility is increasing or decreasing, and whether or not those things are relevant? So we're going to talk about this search visibility figure, and let's go ahead and define it. So what is search visibility? Let's first talk about an essential concept here related to the click-through rates and search rank positions. So this graph, you'll see different variants of this graph. So sometimes the numbers on the left-hand side and where the dots lie are a little bit different. So this is just kind of illustrative. Okay, so keep this in mind. It's illustrative to a concept. Along the bottom, you see search rank positions. So this would be the first ranking position in a search result, second ranking position, third ranking position, etc. We assume that on most search engine result pages, there are 10 results per page. And so the 11th ranked position would be the first result on the second page. So you almost see there's a little bump right there, right? It kind of goes up just a little bit. So these are the organic result positions. These do not count the featured snippets, SERP features, and things like that, right? So these are the organic results, first, second, third, fourth, fifth, etc. Along this axis, we see the click-through rates. Okay, so these are the estimated average click-through rates per rank position for a non-branded search, and it's important to make that distinction. Were this a branded search, this graph would look different. It would be much higher click-through rates. Okay, so for branded searches, I'm using your name, your product name, your business name, your URL in the search itself, and I'm saying I want to see your website, and so therefore I have a higher likelihood of just clicking on that first result because it takes me to your website. So what we see are click-through rates. You'll see that there's this correlation between the search rank position and the click-through rate. Most people, or it's very common for people to click on the first result in a search result page. There's a high correlation between that, a pretty significant drop-off as well. So for non-branded searches, we would see 35 to 40% of the clicks go to the first rank position. Somewhere in the 11, 12, 13% in the second rank position, third rank position, 9 to 10%, etc. And you can see that on the graph here. It drops off quite precipitously. So when we talk about search visibility specifically, what we're saying is what is the estimated average click-through rate that I'd get when selecting a group of words? So let's say that I have 10 different words that are all kind of related to one another, right? Avocados, avocado toast, avocado recipes. Let's say I have all these different words, and I'm ranking in different positions for each one of those, okay? For one of them, I'm ranking in the first rank position. For another, I'm ranking in the 20th position. For another, maybe in the 8th position. And so my search visibility would take those, several different keywords, look at my rank positions, right, and then do an average of the estimated click-through rates that I'd have. So you could say, yes, I rank high for some and low for others, and so therefore my search visibility might be somewhere here, kind of in the middle, okay? So search visibility is our estimated average click-through rate for the keywords that we're looking at as a group or individually. Now, when we think about what is a good search visibility, right? And when we think about the strategy that we're going to pursue about how do I actually drive traffic to my site, right? Because just trying to focus on rank positions is not sufficient. I might rank very high, but I might not get very many clicks. And the goal of marketing and the goal of sales is obviously to have people to come to my site, come to my website, actually click through on those links and deliver business value to my site. So I want them to travel to my site. So what is a good search visibility? Well, let's look at where the majority of these clicks go. Right? The majority of the clicks go to the top 3 to 5 ranked positions. So when you're looking at keywords and you're thinking about, is this a good keyword or not, or is this search visibility that I have for this group of keywords good or not, you might think, what is the likelihood that I'm actually in a position where I'm going to get all these clicks? I might rank, 17th for a keyword, and then I do a lot of search engine optimization effort and I get up to 13th. And you can see here that the nominal increase in the amount of traffic I should expect should be very, very little. However, if I pursue strategies where I think that I have a good likelihood of getting into those top 3 to 5 positions, now all of a sudden looks like I might actually have an opportunity to drive traffic to my site in a big way. So you want to take this into account so you can interpret over time whether or not your search visibility is in a range where it's really going to have a lot of business value to you. So let's jump back over to that Moz Pro campaign interface and just kind of do a little of analysis now that we understand search visibility so we can interpret what we have there. Well, let's take a look at this. We looked at search visibility, 2.03%. So all of a sudden, what is a good search visibility? Well, for non-bred in search terms, 35 to 40% would be awesome, right? 10% or maybe 15%, pretty good too. Okay, 2%, well, not so great. Or there's room for improvement, let's say. And now let's look at this number over here on the right-hand side. 167 keywords showing of 167 currently tracked keywords. So let's kind of zoom in on this so you can see a little bit better. So what are we talking about here? We're saying our search visibility and what's displayed on the graph is 2.03% across all the keywords that we have. So in this campaign, I'm tracking 167 keywords. And I'm actually analyzing all 167 of them at the same time. So what I want to be able to do strategically is track my rank positions, my search visibility in discrete groups that are relevant to my business, right? So I want to, in essence, organize my keywords into relevant groups and then track those against the competitors. Okay, so let's take a look at how we actually do this. And again, this is kind of our goal for search visibility and keyword research is to get to this point. So the rest of the class 1 is going to be focused on getting ourselves to where we can actually do this. So let's look at this interface. I have 167 keywords showing out of 167 total tracked keywords. That's displaying me a search visibility of 2.03%, which is pretty meh. But then down here, I have this filtering tool. Okay, and you can see the graph here represents that 2.03%, right? It's gone down slightly. This filtering tool. So what this filtering tool allows me to do is it allows me to filter by things like URLs, locations if I have location information associated with keywords, or by a thing that we call labels. Okay, so let me scroll down this page, right? So now at the top of the page, here's the filtering tool we're just pointing at, and here's all the keywords I'm tracking. So the first 25, 167 are showing, and each one of these blue links represents the keyword. Okay, so here we have a business that is looking at easements and right-of-ways, transferring property, etc. And you can see there's these gray boxes associated with each keyword. Well, let's kind of double-click on that and zoom in a bit. So here we have, what is right-of-way easement, how to transfer property title between members. And we have 2 labels, okay? One of them relates to a sales funnel phase, right? So each one of these 3 keywords has this awareness funnel phase. And then each one of them has a different sort of topic group that's associated with them, okay? But we have labels associated with each keyword. Okay, well, let's jump back let's jump back over here, okay? So let's look at this search visibility figure and the filtering. So I know that I can filter by labels, URLs, locations, and if I filter, then that'll reduce the number of keywords I'm showing. So what we can do is we can say, let me look at a subset of keywords. Let me look at a subset of keywords and see what's my search visibility there. Is it better than overall or worse than overall? Because that'll give me some sense of sort of where I stack up. So here's the search visibility, 2.03%, no label attached. Let's watch both of those numbers. Okay, now I've labeled it as target keywords. So I have a label on my keywords, and those labels are, let's just pretend these are like my, the top 10 keywords or something like that. In this case, it would be the top 29 keywords that are like my main target keywords. Like if I have a client and they're like, I got to rank for these ones. Okay, fine. We'll create a label. It's called like target keywords or something. So here, okay, here's 2.03%, right? Here's the graph, 167 keywords. I apply the label. Now I have the label attached. There's 29 keywords that have that label, so I've isolated those 29. And now the search visibility goes up to 11.69, and the graph moves up as well. Now what I can do is I can take this search visibility figure and say something knowing about this group of keywords. I can say amongst these 29 keywords, I appear to rank better than on average across all 167. Now I have some insight. Well, let's actually dig a little bit deeper here. Okay, so 29 keywords showing. What about these 29 keywords? Well, let's do something that most executives and leaders in organizations want to know, which is how does this relate to my competition? Is this good or bad? 11.69%. Good or bad? Seems like it's okay, but what does it look like compared to my competition? If we click on this competition tab here, now what it shows us is we inputted competitors into our campaign tool, and so we can track against those competitors. So I have the labeled keyword element here. I have 29 keywords showing. I'm showing search visibility 11.68%. And on the graph of competitors, I can now see my competitors, right? So this business would be blue, and the competitors would be these other colors as well. So you can say something insightful now. You can say, you know what, we do better than average on our target keywords. We do okay. And we have this one primary competitor that we are sort of competing with in this group of keywords. The other ones that we think of as our competitors, they're not really competing. We're not really in a neck-to-neck competition with them here. Also, I can look at this graph over time and see each one of these dots represents a weekly update to the campaign tool. And I can say, we were doing better, and then we went down, and not only did we go down, but it looks like our competition went up. And if I click on a link down below related to the keywords in this grouping, I would actually be able to go look keyword by keyword and see the specific pages that I'm competing with this competitor and see where their rank positions are improving and what caused my degradation. Degradations like this, maybe it's caused by algorithm updates, maybe it's caused by some change that I've done or the competitor's done, but nonetheless, we can look at that very specifically and say, now I know something very insightful about my search visibility for a specific group of keywords as it relates to my competition. And what we really want to be doing is we really want to be watching this. We want to be watching these trends against our primary competition and developing our strategies for really trying to understand what is that competition doing, how are they ranking, how are our ranks comparing to theirs. It develops a lot of insight. And so what this class will be about is primarily going to be answering these questions. What groups should I use for those labels? How do I research those groups appropriately? And then where do I organize that research to make it most accessible and useful and trackable over time so I can actually kind of develop my tactics and strategies accordingly? So that'll be pretty much what we talk about for the remainder of class 2.